Good morning. This is Senator Lisa Murkowski. It is indeed an honor to address you this morning. I want to extend my warmest regards to all of those participating in the meetings. I also want to acknowledge your board chairman, Ori Williams, and of course, your new president and CEO, Aaron Schutt. It is so exciting to see the next generation of young Native professionals taking positions of leadership within their corporations. And again, Aaron, congratulations. Now, many of you, of course, know Christy Williams, who is a Doyon shareholder who serves as my Native and Rural Affairs Advisor here in Washington, D.C. We both wish that we could have joined with you in person today, but this is a really busy time of year here in Washington, D.C. Last year, it was around this time, my staff and I traveled to Fort Yukon, and I was thrilled to have been offered to ride in a young man's dog sled. And I didn't know it at the time, but that young man would race in the Iditarod this year for the very first time, Josh Kadzow. It was great to be able to meet him. I want to congratulate him for what he did with the Iditarod run. I know he's got it in him to go again. I'd like to take a few minutes today to update you on the work that we're doing here in Washington. As the ranking member on the Energy Committee that has jurisdiction over both ANCSA and ANILCA, in addition to national energy policy, I'm sure you know that I'm busy. One of the priorities on the committee continues to be to accelerate the resolution of Native allotment applications and to complete the transfer of ANCSA lands. As you know, we're entering ANCSA's 41st year, so I'm going to work very, very hard to pursue final resolution to these land transfers. Now, on the energy front, it's not looking very encouraging that a comprehensive energy bill will be passed during this session of Congress, but we do hope that a package of some smaller bills including some of the energy bills that I've introduced to aid conventional alternative energy projects, may possibly be approved. We'll see whether it happens in a lame duck session, but we'll keep you posted on that. I'm keenly aware of the importance of federal aid to deal with the sky-high energy costs that we have in Alaska, especially in our rural areas. So I continue to work to push for funding for the low-income Home Energy Assistance Program, the LIHEAP program, that's so urgently needed. There was $3.4 billion of aid allocated for LIHEAP this year, but looking at next year's budget, the President has reduced that request to $3 billion, so we're going to need to keep fighting for these much-needed funds. Doyon and many of your village corporations, of course, participate in the Native 8A program. In spite of the Alaska Congressional Delegation's efforts to educate members of Congress about the merits of expanded 8A business opportunities that apply to our Indian tribes and to our ANCs, there are still a small number of members of Congress who want to eliminate these expanded business opportunities. I am concerned that the success of the Native 8A program will be undermined by the constant call for review of the review of the program before we have current reviews that are complete. So again, this is an issue that I'm working to address, aggressively defending the program and working to educate others on the important benefits that the 8A program affords for tribes and ANCs as you deliver benefits to tribal members and shareholders. I know that all 13 regional corporations recently received letters requesting a list of current ANC shareholders for a congressman's survey. I also know that the presidents of the regional corporations met, and in an effort to protect the interests of their shareholders, they sent a response that was polite, but it firmly declined the request, ensuring shareholder privacy. So we're going to continue to work on this, and we'll keep you updated, as I know you will do. I know many of you have concerns with how the Highway Reauthorization Bill, MAP 21, was working out. For years, Alaska received very little assistance from the IRR program because we've only got one reservation and there were no BIA-owned roads. With the passage of T21 and Safety Lieu, Alaska was finally getting its fair share of IRR funding. Now, as it was originally drafted, MAP 21 would have cut that funding by about $15 million each year. I have been working overtime on this issue over the past several weeks, and I will tell you, we made some good progress, some very good progress with the concessions that were made by the committee to address the funding inequity in Alaska. That bill passed on it's today as I'm speaking to you here. The new MAP 21 formula will be phased in over 5 years. Alaska will receive roughly $54 million in the first year and down to $44 million in 2016. And while I am pleased that we were able to make some pretty good changes to MAP 21, I remain disappointed that the tribal participation in how funds are distributed has been removed. I did file an amendment to restore the current funding formula and tribal participation, but we just couldn't reach consensus, and the Committee of Jurisdiction would not yield. So again, I think we made some real headway in the funding, and that is good for all of rural Alaska. But know that this is an issue where, again, fighting both for funding for Alaska and for tribal participation is something that we continue to work on. As you all know, I'm also the ranking member on the Interior Appropriations Subcommittee. This is the committee responsible for funding the Indian Health Service, the BIA. Funding contract support costs, again, is a big priority of mine. For FY12, the President requested $195 million for BIA contract support costs. We increased that to $219 million. The President requested $461 million for his HIS contract support costs, and we increased that to $472 million. So I think that was important. This year, actually, probably very soon, the Senate may take up reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, VAWA. This is important legislation. I have signed on as a co-sponsor of this. It's moved out of Senate committee with several Alaska-specific provisions included. First, we all know that a village with a VPSO is safer than a village without a VPSO. I certainly hope to see the day when we have 2 VPSOs in every village that wants one to reduce the burnout factor that we know that we have. My language would allow VAWA funds to be used for hiring, retraining, and training, retaining of VPSOs. And at second, coordination among state, federal, and tribal governments is crucial to improvement of public safety in villages. Since 2004, the Rural Justice Commission has provided a forum for that coordination, but we've seen federal funding for the Rural Justice Commission taper off. The commission is at risk of being disbanded, but I was able to insert a framework into the reauthorization of VAWA to restart the Rural Justice Commission. I think its work is far from done, and it's important to continue that. And finally, one of my goals is to ensure that a victim of domestic violence and sexual assault is properly cared for in the hours following an incident. That's the critical period in which evidence must be preserved to support a prosecution. So I'm working to facilitate and update the skills of our community health aides and tribal health providers to support victims in these very important first hours. In closing, I do look forward to continuing my work on your behalf and to witnessing your continued success for generations to come. I would ask that you continue to reach out to me and to my staff to update us on the issues that affect you and within the region. We are always eager to hear your concerns. I hope that you have an informative and a productive annual meeting. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this way. We'll see you soon.